Welcome to January? Oh no, we've done January already. No, it's still January.
All of January. I was going to say, surely we are still in the midst of January.
Yeah, it has been 14 days since the 3rd of January when the last podcast came out.
What a changed world it's been. I can't believe we've had another monarch die.
Could you imagine?
I mean, fingers crossed, but, you know.
But then they'll delay the crown again.
Was that a thing? They delayed the crown because she was in the mud?
Yeah, I think so. Or they delayed
bullshit.
filming of it or something.
Cowards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it means that she's not going to get to see it.
Wouldn't it be great if, like, the writers of The Crown just stopped giving a shit and then just halfway through, and then the Queen shat herself to death?
Or, like, just if they
Or
went...
just put a werewolf in it.
They just go, oh, well, she appears to have died. I guess we can really go in on this whole she murdered Diana. But I suppose, speaking of murder...
Hey! Nice. That was very, very slick. It was a very slick segue you've just made.
Yeah. It's not ever ruined by someone pointing out there was a segue.
That's exactly why I do it.
Yep.
I guess the theme for this is like TV show remakes or continuations of old horror movies and that.
Yes. It's just spooky stuff.
Or little people going mental.
Probably more the latter. Yeah.
Which one do you want to start with on these two?
I watched The Exorcist first.
So did I.
Then it's decided we'll start with The Exorcist.
Do you know why I watched it first? It's because I thought this one's going to be trickier of the two. I watched this on a plane.
Cool. I didn't. I mean, I could. I had the technology. I just didn't.
You didn't have the opportunity or motive.
Well, no, I've been on a plane recently. I thought I'd just listen to. I thought I'd actually just have a little nap. That happened the last 3 times I've been on a plane. I've slept through the whole thing.
In fairness, the last 2 have only been about an hour on a plane.
The last 3 of mine have all been about an hour on a plane.
Oh, there you go.
And it's just a little nap.
Okay. So of the 2, this is the one that I'm like, I don't understand why this is a thing more than the other. It's also
are there not more Exorcist films than Chucky films? Or Child's Play films?
I would be surprised if that's the case. Chucky's had loads, particularly in the last few years.
Yeah, but there have been hundreds of exorcisms. Because I know there's a new Exorcist film coming out, like, now.
It's out. It's been out for a long time.
Well, yeah, because it's January.
Oh, yeah. So there's The Exorcist, Exorcist 2, The Heretic, Exorcist 3, which has got one of the best jump scares ever, Exorcist The Beginning, and Dominion, which is the prequel to The Exorcist, and then Exorcist Believer. So I make that, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See, what I've done is added in all the other films that mention exorcisms.
Oh, what, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
Yeah.
And
that's the only example
The Last
I have.
Exorcism.
Yeah.
The Last Exorcism 2.
The Exorcism of the Pope, or is that not a thing?
The Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, that's the one.
The Exorcism of the Pope.
Oh, I don't know. There could be a little demon in there. Or at least that's what they call him.
Exorcist of the Pope. Brackets tempting out the nonce. I don't think I really liked The Exorcist.
In general, or specifically the TV show?
The TV show. The film, I think, is brilliant. I love the film. I just don't really know what the point of this is. Also, you know how, like, a large driving part of the narrative is that there is a mum who is convinced that there is a demon in her house.
Yes.
What she is anticipating as a demon is she's heard some noises in a wall, and that's it. That's all the evidence she has.
Yeah.
And it's not enough to go, oh, that's an exorcist then. No, because like it could just be pipes or something.
Yeah, but it's important that she appears unhinged for, I'm sure, a reason. Yeah, I am not a huge Exorcist fan in general.
You've seen the film, have you?
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Like, the thing is, I watched it. I think I was probably too old when I watched it, and it just didn't hit scary. And also, like, the special effects are poor in comparison to modern day. Like the head spinny throwing up. I don't think I've ever giggled so much. So, I mean,
I actually still think The Exorcist is pretty scary. I think there's definitely parts of it that are creepy. The trouble is that it's that, you know, like, it's the scary movie thing, isn't it? It's like when we talked about Alien and stuff. Like, is it not Starship Troopers? What's the Spaceballs? The one that takes the piss out of Alien. It just, or The Simpsons even. It's like The Exorcist has been so parodied that when you look at the original, it's kind of tainted. But it's because it's like it's so influential that it feels like it's out of date, even though it's the thing that brought up all those things. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, the thing is, I just don't. I don't know if it's maybe just I don't necessarily find any film that has like a big like religious proponent of it that interesting or scary or fun.
So what I've realised is that as soon as there's like Catholic iconography in any sort of story, I don't know why, but it just scratches a little itch inside my brain, and I'm like, yeah, I really like this because, you know, midnight mass.
That's fair. But then I don't think Midnight Mass is meant to be scary. Well, not in terms of like horror, but like in terms of, wow, people are shit.
So it turns out, so this is actually a continuation. I thought this was like one of those weird things where like there's a TV show remake of a film.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was a remake. I just assumed it was just a different story.
Which I guess it is, but it does reference the first one. There's a bit where he's doing some research and it references, you know, the Georgetown possession, and like it's got a picture of the steps that Karras jumps down.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't think I know the film well enough to catch references like that.
To be fair, I think pretty much, other than like the direct ones, so like, you know, the Exorcist walks along at the start and he's got a hat on and he looks up at a window where something weird is happening. That's a very deliberate reference to the film. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. The fact that, you know, just that he sees a reference to Karras and Merrin having died in Georgetown. There is a bit where she goes into the attic. There's a character goes into the attic, which is very reminiscent of Chris McNeil going up into the attic in The Exorcist. Do you remember the jump scare with the candle? Like, she's walking around with the candle, and then all of a sudden the candle sort of bursts into a really bright flame. It's quite a good jump scare, actually.
No.
Okay.
I think I've seen The Exorcist once. And that was now quite a long time ago. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't think this was bad. It's just I did also really enjoy it right at the end where he's like walking down the street and then you just start hearing the theme, and I was like, yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's the trouble. Is like every time it did something like that, which admittedly, like I just said, isn't a lot of times. I was just thinking, I could just be watching The Exorcist, like the film.
Yeah. I almost like the sort of bait and switch of which daughter it is that turns out to be possessed.
The trouble is I guessed it quite early on that was going to happen. So then it was just kind of like waiting for it.
Guessed it. I was sort of like, oh, it's not going to be her. And I was like, it would be fun to just do a full series of a show called The Exorcist.
Where you don't
without
know.
ever seeing a demon.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then right at the end you just go, it turns out they're all demons.
Maybe the real Exorcist is the friends we made along the way. No, that'd be good. That'd be like the Robert Wise The Haunting, which is an adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House. It doesn't explicitly show a ghost ever. It completely leaves it up to you as to whether or not the characters are going mad or if there is, genuine ghosts in the house, which is actually kind of similar to the novel.
Yeah, I think it's quite an interesting idea of just like. But I also quite like that he's a bit more, I guess, of a realist, where he's like, oh, I mean, don't like demons not real. And then he's just like, I mean, he then meets one and just goes, fuck.
Oh, fuck, they're real. They're real as shit. They're real as shit.
They're real. Someone bring the tubular bells.
Right, so I won't say who it was, but somebody I know said they were at a funeral, and that was the chosen music for the coffin leaving or coming into the thing or being burnt or buried or whatever. It was tubular bells, and I think that is fucking dark as shit.
That's funny though.
Do you know what mine's going to be? This episode of this podcast.
Oh, you could pick a better one. What about episode 200? Because that's an hour and a half. Just a really slow roll into the fire.
Yeah, that'll learn them. The thing about that is that if it's that slow, there will be a point where, like...
It's going to smell
very
good.
brief. Well, that was the thing I was going to say, but then it's quite...
Barbecue-y.
I was about to say it's quite hot fire, isn't it? It's not like a low and slow. So my feet will burn very, very quickly, slowly, but for a very long time, very intensely.
Yeah,
Maybe
they will be very gone.
Oh my god, that's 100% what I'm doing. So in my coffin, what I want is like a trivet of veg, and then some herbs, like some garlic, and some really nice
Do you
sage.
want to smell delicious?
I want, but I don't want anyone to know about it. So everyone's just like I mean, I'm all sad and everything, but also getting quite peckish.
It smells like the buffet's ready.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
If I'm around, I will make that happen.
Oh.
And I've got evidence. Like, this is your will.
I'd also like some kind of TV chef to be talking through the recipe as I'm cooking.
Do you reckon we could get Mads to do it?
I'd quite enjoy Nick Frost doing that. Just talking through. Hey, yeah, you chopped up some mushrooms, some leeks are in there as well, some parsnips, glazed them in honey as well, so just to really make it tasty. Right, and now we're gonna cook Joe.
Yeah. What if we get Nick Frost to narrate over some Hannibal scenes to be shown at the same time?
Right, buffet's open, lads. Let's go get a sandwich, shall we?
Yeah. Where's the buffet room? Oh, it's just the room out the back. So you
Follow
see
the
where
coffin.
we've just slid the coffin through?
Follow the coffin.
This is why we're never going to run our own crematorium.
Or restaurant. Or crematorium/restaurant.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, a lot of what restaurants are crematoriums for animals.
That's very true. You could do an amazing just a special on the menu, yesterday's burnt ends. Oh, there's definitely a market in that, isn't there? Building a restaurant next to a crematorium.
It saves travelling, doesn't it? And everyone likes their food organic.
What would we feed the vegans though?
Other vegans?
Is that vegan?
I don't know. At some point, it's going to be mostly plant.
Yeah. Anyway, Exorcist is good, isn't it? We've really gone off on a tangent on this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm not going to watch any more of it, I don't think.
No. I feel like it came out in that, that time when Amazon Prime was really trying to...
Find
Amazon Studios. Yeah, they were really trying to make a name for themselves. I feel like it was around that time. So do you remember, like, there was the Purge TV show as well?
Oh, yeah.
Feels like it was similar to that, like just trying to make it stamp on it. But yeah, I'm not going to be watching any more of this. I don't think I'm going to watch the new Exorcist movie. I've heard only bad reviews. So.
Well, I mean, I haven't watched The Exorcist 2 yet, but
apparently that's not good either. Exorcist 3 is fun, mostly apparently. I actually haven't seen Exorcist 3, but it's got one of the best jump scares you'll ever watch in your life. So good. I tell you what is fun, and what has always been fun, and films I've always enjoyed, the Chucky movies.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen... Oh, I don't think I've seen any of them.
That surprises me. I feel like you really enjoy them.
No, I haven't. I think I've put them on before and then been like, I'm not in the mood for this.
Maybe we should do a weekend, because I've got all the Blu-rays. We could just do like one after the other, just all the Child's Play movies, and Cult of Chucky and all that sort of stuff. Because it starts out funny, but they only get funnier. Billy Boyd's in one of them as well. Might be more than one, but he's in one of them. Oh
well, then I'm in. Sold.
They're also weirdly progressive films as well. Very complicated ideas of gender. For a film that was made in 2006 is Seed of Chucky.
Interesting. I think stuff like that doesn't make me not want to see them. I think just where it's like something's just a bit weird. I like it because it's a weird premise, isn't it? Like
it's a serial,
a serial killer possesses a doll.
As well, it's so I think he's being chased by this is from the original, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but. What I remember is he's running away from the cops. He runs into a toy store, and then he is like mortally wounded. And with his dying breath, he performs a ritual where his soul then transfers into the good guy doll, which is Chucky, and it's a mad opening. But do you know what? It's the first one particularly is a really, really fun film. And then they just get they lean more into the comedy for the later ones. But it had a remake actually a few years ago, and even that I was like, that was pretty good actually.
Yeah.
But the show is a lot of fun as well. I think
it is actually part of the universe rather than
because
like a reimagining or.
So do you remember? There's the scene where somebody phones Jake to try and buy and he says, right, he's possessed. That person is the kid in the first 3 Chucky movies.
Nice. I think I recognise the name, or some bit of trivia on a website.
Andy Barclay.
Yeah. But this was, I think, better than The Exorcist. I'm tempted to watch more of this.
Yes, I would be as well. If I had some way of getting it without paying through the nose for it.
That's the dream.
It's quite recent as well. I didn't realise how recently it had been made. So this came out in 2021.
Yeah.
The first series. I do remember seeing a lot of people saying, oh, this is good. Like a lot of horror critics on my timeline were like, this is actually genuinely very, very good and it's worth watching. So I'm glad we got around to it. So yeah, it's in what's the town called? They call it Hack and Slash or something, don't they?
Yeah, Hackensaw.
Hackensack.
Yeah, it's a really shit name.
It's just to just a crowbar in the Hack and Slash name.
Oh, for sure.
It's what I don't even know what genre you'd call this, because it's kind of just like, I feel like it's like a dark teen thing, because it's not quite a comedy, but it's not quite a drama, is it? It's kind of got elements of both.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of just sort of like cunts getting what's coming to them.
There's a lot of big themes in it as well, but then it's undercut by like, so this is something that I realised I struggle with, is the dad's performance, the actor of the dad. I was a bit like he seemed like a bit pantomime-y, which I suppose for a show that's about a killer doll is probably fine, but I did find that quite distracting. One of my favourite kills I've ever seen, though, is Chucky having drunk a bottle of whiskey and then throwing it up all over the dad's feet
and
in a puddle.
Setting up like electrocuting with it.
Yeah, fucking brilliant. I really laughed at that as well. I think I watched this on a plane as well.
I mean, that's like, you know, if you're on a plane, what else are you going to do apart from watch some horror stuff?
I do. I don't know. Do you ever watch something like in public and you're a bit like, you're aware that you know there might be something that's a bit naughty or a bit violent come up? Because I definitely had that. I watched.
No, I don't tend to watch a lot of stuff in public. There's been times where I've been listening to a book and I'm like, I hope like these headphones are keeping all the sound in. It's when I was listening to American Psycho on the tube.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I hope no one else can hear this.
I watched what was one we did the other day? Boardwalk Empire, and there's a bit where like there's a bit of shagging going on in that one, and I was like, oh god, and I just skipped through a couple of seconds because I don't want anyone to think I'm watching porn on a plane again.
Well, not since you got put on that list.
No, not since I got thrown off the plane.
Lucky you're so good at parachuting.
Yeah, well, it's a skill. It's quite interesting that like it's not often you get like a slasher scenario like in movies or TV shows or anything where you're kind of on the side of the killer.
Yeah,
because he's just killing people who are knobheads and cats. So I'm like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, because in the first episode it's just the cat and the dad
and his dad.
But luckily, the guy who plays the dad is also in it. I think he plays apparently like 4 characters.
What, in this?
Yeah, he plays Logan and Lucas Wheeler, James Collins and Father Bryce.
What?
Yeah.
Why? That's such an odd thing.
I get it's one of those where you just sort of like, if no one notices, we got away with it. And you didn't notice. I got told by the internet. Because I thought I recognised him from something and I was like, why is he listed as these many characters?
Oh my god, he was Flash in Spider-Man. Oh, in the animated series. Oh, okay.
I saw that as well and was like, oh, it's the animated series, it's fine. I
didn't
feel
realise
bad for recognising him.
I do often wonder why, like they get. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't spot that.
Well, that's the thing. Also, if you like, in the context of it being, because I wasn't really sure if it was going to be, because I knew it was a bit of a slasher, but I didn't know if it was going to be more like Halloween, where it's like trying to be it's a proper slasher, or Scream, where it's just a bit like self-aware and funny. And it was seeing that they've got the same actor as 4 different roles, and I'm like, oh no, yeah. They're leaning into it a lot.
Oh, I don't know why. That's made me like it even more. Like, I really, really liked this. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed watching this.
I think what I find like with randomly throughout all the podcast, there's been shows that I've been like, it's sort of initially like, I'm not really sure that was why, and then we talk about it. And I'm like, no, there's a lot I like. And then, but this doesn't have Tubular Bells, so write off. Put it in the bin. It does have a pretty good soundtrack, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
quite contemporary.
Yeah, I might be looking up how much it is to get the Blu-ray.
But you've got it,
It's not too expensive because Chucky.
Yeah, and you've cleared out all that space.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like, I don't think you need to know anything going into this. Like, obviously you've not seen the Child's Play stuff, but you're aware of Chucky as a.
It's the same thing as The Exorcist, where it's quite in pop.
Did you know that was the setup of Chucky? Is that it's
I knew it was a serial killer. In, like spirit or soul or blah blah blah.
I'm so up for watching those films again. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one the most, but like it's been a long time since the.
I thought the second one was more your thing.
Maybe we shouldn't. Yeah, and I was going to bring something up that's about the. We'll talk about it afterwards. There was a controversy around one of them that's really particularly nasty, but it's like not actually anything to do with the film. But anyway, I'll tell you about it later. I'm very pleased that Chucky is still a thing that keeps coming back, because each time it comes back, I'm like, this is still good. Like, it's one of a rare horror property that every time it's come back, I'm like, this is pretty good actually. So
how do they explain over the course of the Chucky films? Because obviously, I've seen stills of Chucky a bit fucked up.
Yeah.
How does he keep coming back all fresh-faced and not like, is that the murder doll?
It's a very good question. I think there are points where...
Oh, does he do something weird to heal?
There is a thing where, like, because he gets stitches at one point, which is quite funny. But I do think he goes into different dolls and different entities. I'll say. I think I can't really remember. We're just gonna have to watch
it was just I'm curious. Like, it's not a criticism, because at the same time they could just be like, yeah, it happens.
Oh man, that would be such a good day just to go through all the Chucky movies.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Let's do that.
Horror films and ball games.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a big recommend for Chucky for both of us. Not a massive recommend for The Exorcist for this one, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think give us something that's a little bit funny and quite dark. We're
about
simple
our level,
people,
really, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe by the next time you hear us, we might have done that movie marathon. Who knows?
It's possible.
I don't think it is, because we're about to record it now.
Well, I mean, by the time they hear us, that's in...
That's several months away.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to be doing... This is interesting. Have we ever had an anime show before? Have we ever done one? I'm not sure we have.
We've done animations, but not an anime.
And we're in quite a unique situation in that it's an anime of... Wait, no, it's a live action of an anime that we're going to. So we're going to be doing both versions of One Piece, which is, as I believe the pronunciation is One Piece. One Piece. We're going to go for One Piece.
If you bring one piece, I bring one sheet.
Oh no.